In addition to all of this chaos that is coming, the food shortage that is coming, a potential grid shutdown that is coming, this is all going to lead to a social credit score. This is what you see going on with the grooming of people's behavior, with people's social status, being politically correct online. It's all leading to a social credit score, which is total control of your life. You will not be able to buy things, sell things, eat things, do anything. And does buy and sell sound familiar? Without having and being a part of this social credit system. And of course, that will have to do a lot with complying to taking the vax. So somebody on the website, a subscriber, John William, posted this. This is a new article about the social credit system modifying climate change behaviors being developed in Italy. And these are things that they're going to do to get people to comply with social credit scores. Now, we know all the liberal, libtard people will have no problem being a part of this system because they think that they're good, outstanding citizens. They're completely brain dead. This is all based on what the government tells you to do. This is kind of part of this whole movement that we've seen where everybody's like, oh, be happy. And everyone's just naive to what's going on. And they're being fake, pretentious, smiling all the time, thinking everything's wonderful, thinking that they're good, outstanding citizens. They're government shills. They're government puppets following the government's orders. The only way to succeed in this system is to do everything the government tells you to comply with what they do. You will not be able to purchase things that they do not deem you should be able to purchase, which of course we know means things that go bang bang, guns and other things like that. You will not be able to build up survival food. You will not be able to do anything that they don't deem okay for you to do. I'm going to show you a clip here if you're not familiar with how this whole thing works. I've covered it over the years with Black Mirror and a lot of these shows that have shown it. China is already doing it, as we know. And don't think for 1 second that's not coming here, because they're following the blueprint of China. America will be the next China, and America will crumble. This is the social credit score. Then I'll get into what they're doing with climate change in Italy.
The system's eyes are in big data, artificial intelligence, and roughly 200 million surveillance cameras. And that's totally fine with Ouyang Haoyu. She's 21, graduated from a good school with solid grades. She's diligent. She's nice. No surprise, she's a 752. That's her rating with Sesame Credit, a private company working with the government on the algorithms for the social credit system. The scores go from 350 to 950 and are based on habits and behavior. Buy clothes or diapers, it's good. A lot of alcohol, too many video games, not so good. Haoyu's 752 puts her in model citizen range and gets her discounts and privileges, like using a shared bike without a deposit. She likes it. Her friends do too. They all have pretty high scores.
It's a mechanism like pushes you to become a better citizen, to build on the trust, especially on the Chinese market.
Because you're not going to be punished if you haven't done anything wrong.
I think that's the point. I think the system is working as a warning or an alert to push people to do it, to be a good person.
And it's mandatory. When it goes national, social credit scores will be assigned to every one of China's citizens for life. And what's weird is that so many people seem okay with it. It's complicated, but China went from extreme poverty to economic giant pretty quickly. A credit history system didn't grow at the same pace, so people would default on loans and get away with it. Add in scandals around fake food, tainted baby milk, counterfeit goods, and what you've got is a big problem with trust. So, in 2014, the Communist Party called for a system to allow the trustworthy to roam everywhere under heaven while making it hard for the discredited to take a single step. The model is a place called Rongcheng. It's in Shandong province. It's orderly. Streets are spotless. Cars slow down, which is unheard of in China. Words like honesty and credibility appear on propaganda posters. Display cases show pictures of Rongcheng's most honored citizens. You start with 1,000 points, and you can print out your report anytime. You lose points for things like jaywalking, littering, tossing cigarette butts, or spreading rumors. Cameras do a lot of the surveillance work, But it's pretty analog too, like posters that list the ways you can gain or lose points.
监控下的大马线。
And each night, local TV shows the surveillance highlights of the day.
可以了。
And then there's Zhou Aini. She's an information collector, a paid enforcer who walks around and writes down deeds about her neighbors.
他就扶着他。
Like the man who carried a drunk person home. Things like this are good deeds, she said. But the farmer overheard swearing and being rude. Yeah, bad
每
deeds.
个月10条。
Her quota is 10 a month. She likes the work, thinks the city's better for it. The thing about the social credit system is that there isn't one single system, not yet. Different places have different rules. So what do you do if you have bad social credit? Well, for one, you talk about it on Weibo, which is like Twitter. There are forums for discredited people to vent and get advice. In Chongqing, we hooked up with Huang Huijun. He had a business until he was sued by a client, and Huang refused to pay 90 grand to settle it. So the court put him on a social credit blacklist, and things got way worse.
比如说坐飞机。
He explains that being blacklisted means he can't buy airplane or train tickets.
一定要卡拉 OK 那种。
When he tries, a message pops up saying he's discredited. By the end of last year, blacklisted people were blocked from booking 23 million flights and 5 million high-speed train trips. And the list goes on. Being discredited makes it hard to get a job, a loan, a hotel room, or put kids in certain schools. Then there's the public shaming. Photo galleries of blacklisted citizens. There's even an app that shows who around you is in debt. In China, being monitored is nothing new. But algorithmic surveillance makes it possible to collect data to build detailed profiles of people, especially the ones not loyal to the government. Of all the video surveillance cameras on the planet right now, nearly half of them are in China. Are people bothered by privacy concerns?
So we think the lot of camera keep the safety is really good things. A lot of people, we can accept it.
And cameras are getting smarter. So the information that comes up from my image identifies that I'm female, middle-aged, talks about whether I'm wearing glasses, the shape of my face. AI is taking them next level. They can do more than just see. They actually understand who they're seeing. So at what point can the technology know too much? Does it already?
In most time, people don't care about it. But if the technology learns too much, for example, cross the red line, it's not very good.
How far off are we from needing to draw those red lines?
It's very hard to say. I think maybe decades, I mean 10 years or 20 years, 15 years, maybe.
That's not very long.
Yeah,
It's coming.
it's coming.
And where does it all go?
你好，
谢谢。
Hao Yu isn't so bothered. Her Sesame score is high. Life is good, and she's used to living most of it online. Soon, her education and medical records and any run-ins with the law will factor into her social credit score. And wherever she goes, someone will follow and ask, who can you trust?
If that system isn't frightening to you, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, not only do you have a government that's telling you what's right and what's wrong, and if you don't listen to what the government does, you will be shut out of the system, which means you could be left homeless, you could be left without food, you have your bank accounts monitored 24/7, frozen 24. And what's crazy about it is these people who identify as liberals who want the socialism because they can't succeed inside of a capitalist system because they're lazy, they want this system, and they don't realize that their lifestyles are not going to be supported by this system. Once the system's in place, they're going to regret this because they're going to say, oh, you're doing what online? You're buying what? You're looking at what? Not anymore. Oh, you're spending 24 hours playing video games? Not anymore. Not anymore, not anymore, not anymore, because they're going to tell you what's good and bad. They think in their own perverse, warped brains, which aren't really brains, they're crap for brains. They think that what they're doing is good and they're good citizens. We all need to be like them. That's how warped they are. And they're the most perverse, sick, mentally unhealthy people that have probably ever existed, other than back in the days of Noah, which is pretty much the same thing as we're seeing now. What they're going to end up having happen to them is the same thing that's happening to people like us. We're getting shut out from society. Now, the magic potion, of course, is going to be something that will affect your social credit score. You will not be able to be a part of the system without having it. Other things that you saw in that video clip were rats. You have rats all over the place. You're going to have these little rats like in 1984 who, if they hear you curse in the distance, they're going to go tattle on you, and they're going to be paid by the government to do that. They will be everywhere. You will have no privacy. You will have no rights anymore. You saw some of the other stuff in the video. And I mean, the amazing thing is that these people think it's wonderful. These imbeciles think it's wonderful. They're like, I love it. I love it. Like it's a Nintendo game and you're trying to get the high score. I will live my life complying by the government, pretending that I'm happy with no freedoms so that I can have a high social credit score. And then the government can take my picture and put it on a billboard. No thanks. You can come execute me now, okay? I'm not participating in this. Can you imagine how low my credit score will be, or any of yours? We're all in the same boat. We all think the same. I mean, talk about a zero. We wouldn't even have 1 point, because I will not comply with any of this trash that they're trying to push on our society. So Italy is now trying to get this going in 2022. In the fall, they're going to begin a new pilot project. Citizens who display good behavior, such as correctly recycling or using public transportation, will be rewarded. So they're going to have a smart citizen wallet, which will be the primary method for citizens to collect digital coins in exchange for behavioral changes. Sound familiar? It's like a video game. Based on the given scores, a person can also receive discounts for local shops. Wow. Get a coupon. Let the government control your life, and you can have 10% off at Payless Shoes. I mean, who cares? These people will be like, whoa, I can save money. I can go to the grocery store and get 5 cents off of my bananas. Yeah, you can. But you also are going to be completely monitored. And the time when you try to make a purchase online and they don't want you to do it, they're going to tell you to sit there and smile. And your brain on the inside is going to be boiling over. Just watch Black Mirror if you want to see the behavior it's going to create. So the primary argument for this program is to save resources and promote climate-friendly behavior. This will be one of the ways they start pushing the social credit score across. Climate change. It'll fit perfectly because people won't think that there's too much control in their life. And they'll say, okay, well, I could do this. I recycle anyway, and I'll be a part of this system, and I'll get rewards, and it'll be fun. That's how they indoctrinate you, and they desensitize you from it. Then, after they see this, and the people start participating in, they're like, it's not a big deal. It's fun. I recycle my soda cans. And look, I got a free coupon and a couple Sonic the Hedgehog rings and a couple Mario coins. And they love it, and they love it, and they love it. And after a year, the government comes out, and they say, remember that social score we did? We're going to try it again now with behavior because everyone's such a bully and so mean to one another. Now we're going to do it with behavior and how you talk to people and the words you use. And we're going to listen to you on your devices. And if you curse or if you say something that's mean, you'll be dodged points. So if somebody comes up to you and spits in your face, you're supposed to, smile and give them all your money, apparently. I mean, I don't know, but you get the point. And people will go, well, you know what? It worked with the climate change. Okay, let's try it with new things. And it'll just continue on and continue on because they'll be desensitized from it. They'll think that it's a good thing because they're going to see, it worked with climate change, because they'll get propaganda from the media that'll tell them that it helps resolve 50% of the climate issues and blah, 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 blah. And they'll continue on until they're in a full system of 100% control. So Italy is doing this test run with the climate. Other countries will jump in with the climate. Other countries will jump in with other things that they've deemed world hazards. Probably now that in America that a conspiracy theorist is the terrorist and people can't seem to figure out why, because we're trying to help everybody wake up to what the government's trying to do. There'll probably be a thing in America where it's like, kind of like you see on YouTube or other social media sites, flag somebody who's speaking out, who isn't going along with protocol, flag them and get rewarded. Right? And that's what we have, these systems like YouTube flagging, right? People take advantage of it. They flag my channel all the time. Of course, they strike my channel for no reason whatsoever. These people think it's a good thing. They don't realize that it's going to be happening to them in the near future too. And that's why I try to warn against both sides. I say, look, you could be out there, you could be flamingly, you know what? it's going to happen to you. So you're not going to want to censor people. You want to man up and be tough and be able to get made fun of and deal with it. Just like you do to me. I deal with it. But they don't want to hear it. They want to be protected. They're little babies. They want to be coddled by the government. And at the end of the day, they're going to be living in a fantasy land like that woman you saw in the video who's like, me and my friends love it. We love it. Or whatever her accent was. Me and my friends love it. It's great. I love the fact that the government's watching me take a dump and giving me a social credit score based on if I wipe good enough. Oh, yay. Did I shower too long? Sorry, I got doxed 2 points because I was in the shower for 2 minutes longer than the government told me to be. It's going to be total, utter control. That's what their end game is. Control over your lives, control over your mind, pre-crime, all of it mixed together. And the social credit score is one of the most dangerous things ever invented. And it does tie into the mark. Because obviously you're not going to be able to buy or sell unless you comply with the social credit score. So the question is, how is this going to tie in with your DNA and everything else in the magic potion? It's all going to tie in together. You're going to see it all happening and you're going to go, wow, it wasn't just one specific thing. It was a bunch of things put together. And here's the system, and this is the beast system. Scary time to be alive, yeah. But remember, we're here now because God put us here now for a reason. To make people aware of this. Try to help people, lead them to pick up their Bible so that they can find salvation through Christ. To make them aware, say, hey, look, this is what's going on. Be prepared. Like I said recently, people are criticizing me, and that's fine. You have every right to criticize. You say whatever you want. I'm all for it. I'm for free speech. I don't care if you want to come on here and say, oh, you're fear-mongering and things like that. I'm not. This is how I am in my day-to-day life. If you knew me and you knew anyone around me, they'd be like, that's him. That's how he is. That's how he's always been. This isn't an act. And you might say, well, I don't like that. Well, then don't listen. The reason that I'm doing this is because, one, this is how I am. This is an affront. And two, because people need to be aware of this. You want to be walking around with your guard down like these other people are going to be when they pull the plug and they do this type of stuff and not mentally prepare yourself for what's coming? You're going to go AWOL if you don't mentally prepare. So you might be stressing out a little bit now, and I don't want you to stress. I just want you to be aware and prepared. But it'll be worth it in the long run because you'll be prepared when it goes on. You'll go, okay, I was waiting for it. I knew it was going to come. Now it's here. Now what do? Oh, the social credit score. We knew it would be here. You knew in advance it was coming. You knew in advance not to comply to it, what it had to do with your privacy, because they're going to trick people into this with the whole, recycle. And they're like, that's not a bad thing. Why wouldn't I do it? Of course I'm going to recycle. And how it's just leading people into a more strict government system of control